Hey folks, this is David from Default Sound. Today I just wanted to share really quickly how I fire simple tracks using the Playback plugin in MainStage. Had a few questions about that. Shout out to you, Toby. So let's take a look. Alright, so I've got a blank concert open up here. This is Swoosh, which is actually available for free over at my selffi.com storefront. Little plug for that. Get your swoosh on. So what we're going to do is create a new patch, untitled patch, and we're going to name it In Jesus' Name. We're going to use the track I was just working on in Logic the other day. So you want to select your patch in blue, and then you want to go down here to Attributes. You want to make sure you click Has Time Signature, and the song's in 4/4. Then change tempo to, and you need to know the tempo of the track that you're going to be loading in. This is at 105. And that's all you need to do right here. So then we're going to go here to channel strips. We're going to add a new channel strip, and it's going to be an instrument channel strip. Hit create, and it defaults to this keyboard here. I click on this down here, attributes. We're going to name it track. I like to make all my tracks red, just so my band knows which channel strip is a track. I'm going to go to input here, instrument, and we're going to go down to MainStage and select Playback. And unless you are using a mono track, you want to select stereo here. So stereo. And you can see now that it's disappeared from the keyboard. This is the Playback plugin. So we're going to click the little settings cog here, hit open file, and then you need to locate your track. I've got mine here in a folder, tracks in Jesus' name. I like to notate the key so I know what I'm working with, and this is a .aif file. Now Playback can play WAV or MP3 files as well, but .aif files contain tempo information. This is very important if you ever want to be able to change the tempo of a percussion loop or even of a full track. So we're going to select this track and hit open, and it loads our file in right here. Now you can see the tempo of our song is 105, but it's interpreting as 104.9 here. That's okay, don't worry about that. A couple settings you need to select here. Go to sync and hit on 105. Woohoo! And then snap to, I do snap to bar, and then play from start. And I always select this little metronome button so that whenever this track plays, the click turns on even if it's not on previously. You don't want to try playing two tracks without click. If you have the click built into your track, then that doesn't really matter. You want to leave that off because you don't want the built-in metronome. Okay, so we got our track in here, you can see, and a couple other things. Hit the settings cog again. I have my track set to start whenever my keyboard player changes to that patch. Whether or not you want that is up to you. If you want to be able to play like a pad intro before you bring the track in, then you can leave that deselected. And then start with play action is pretty much a must unless you want to have to open the Playback plugin and hit this play button. Or you could always throw a play button into your layout somewhere that triggers playback. But you'd have to do that at the patch level for every Playback track, I believe. You could map it depending on the patch. Anyways, so that's it. So I got start with play action, start on patch set change. Now, remember I was talking about changing tempos. If it's a percussion loop or something you're not sure of the final tempo you're going to be performing at, click on the settings cog again, go to flex mode, and what you want to do is hit polyphonic, and then it will allow you to change the tempo if you wish by going to your patch settings and just dragging the tempo up or down. You can even do it with a tap tempo button that you add to your layout. Now if you're going from like 105 BPM to 65 BPM, your audio is going to sound really bad. So Small adjustments generally are okay, up to about 10 or 15 BPM before you start to have some nasty artifacts and it becomes pretty unusable. Alright, so we got our playback plugin all loaded in. Now to really do this, if you're using keyboards live as well, you need an audio interface that has at least 4 outputs. Or you could use a 2-output device and create an aggregate device in Audio MIDI setup if you wanted to, using the built-in output as well. If you have questions about that, do a quick Google. There are tons of tutorials about how to do that. Anyways, I don't have an interface connected right now, but what I would normally do is have all of my synth sounds coming out of outputs 1 and 2, and then I would Control-click on output for my track channel and change it to output 3 and 4. Now, before I loaded this particular file into MainStage, you can see that this is the left side, this is the right side. I've got audio down here. This is my track. On the left side is only guide track. So when I put my track together, I panned all of the music to the hard right and all the guide track to hard left. So then you can just leave this pan knob straight up. Little trick I actually like to do is I like to mix my guide track really loud left, just to the point of clipping, but still pan hard left. Then if I need a little less guide track, I can pan a little to the right, and that guide track gets a little bit quieter without actually affecting the volume of my backing track. Just gives you a little bit of control without having to go back in and re-edit the volume of your guide. So that's kind of useful. And then after I've got that set up to output 3 and 4, I would also go Control-click on my click channel, and I would change that to output 3 and 4 as well. And then I would hard pan it all the way to the left so that it wouldn't come through the house, which is going to output 4, but the click and guide would be on the same output going to output 3. Now if you have an interface with more outs and you want to split this all up separately and send the house 15 different sends or whatever, you can totally do that. But this is the simplest way, only uses 4 outs. You can get a simpler interface and make this work. Okay, so now we are ready to play this track. So I'm going to bring this volume down a little bit. I don't know how loud it's going to be. So you go into perform mode here.
1,
and
2,
there we go.
1, 2, 3,
hear this track
4.
coming over on the right side, and you hear the click coming through the left, and the guide you see here. So if I pan this,
All in.
you see just one at the left, and my guide is only hitting the left.
4.
That's all there is to it. I don't use markers or anything in MainStage. I've just not found it reliable enough to actually make it worth my time. If you need that flexibility to be able to jump around in your arrangement, I would highly recommend investing in a program that's more suited for that, such as Ableton Live. There are some tutorials about how to accomplish this in MainStage, but I just haven't had enough success to take the time to dig into how that works. So again, a quick Google. loopcommunity.com also has some information about that. That's it. Alright, well that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, like, share if you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out facebook.com/default sound to know about free releases before anybody else, see new videos like this one. And if you want to check out my online store, you can go to sellfi.com/default sound. Got some free stuff over there as well. Thanks, have a good day.